It's a lot of moving parts with me and Wayne, and it's important to me that I fix it.
Turk, shout out to Turk, you little you ain't here, but you. We gon' you and we won't you. You heard me?
Damn.
We gon' with that.
This was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody like start going to jail.
I'll see this shit, man. Y'all see what's going on. I think No Limit won. You know, that's my honest opinion. They was more organized. They was grown up about this.
It looks like Lil Wayne's finally done pretending everything's all good. After Birdman went off on Turk during that wild Cash Money versus No Limit battle, fans started paying real close attention to Wayne's quiet reaction, and it spoke volumes. You could feel it hit deep, because these weren't just label mates, these were brothers. The original Hot Boys, the ones who built each other from nothing. For years, Wayne stood by Birdman like a son defending his pops, but this silence? It feels different this time, and honestly, it should. When you look back at all the lawsuits, shady money moves, and public disses, it starts to feel like Birdman didn't just wreck friendships, he tore apart the very legacy that made Cash Money iconic. So let's get into it. How Birdman went from being the man who made the Hot Boys to the reason they might never be whole again. Everything blew up at Complex Con during the Cash Money vs. No Limit event on October 25th, 2025. Fans came through expecting old school vibes, legendary collabs, and pure nostalgia. But instead, Birdman grabbed the mic and turned the whole room upside down. Out of nowhere, he shouted, "Shout out to Turk, you a little blame. You ain't here, we gon' F with you when we wanna F with you." The crowd froze for a split second. It felt like time stopped. Then boom, social media went crazy. People started tagging Turk non-stop, reposting old interviews and asking one question: what happened now? Later that night, Turk went live, calm but clearly done with the disrespect. And when he said, "Give me my percentage," it hit like a bombshell. That line wasn't about ego or clout. It was about money, loyalty, and promises that never got kept. Fans started piecing things together real quick. If Turk's still fighting for his cut after all these years, maybe Birdman's been running the same game on everyone. And while the internet was losing it, Wayne stayed quiet, which honestly spoke louder than words. To really get why this runs so deep, you gotta rewind, way before Cash Money even existed. The name Hot Boys wasn't cooked up in a studio. It came straight from the streets of New Orleans' Magnolia projects in the late 1880s. The original Hot Boys were real street legends: Sterling, Donnie, Mosquito, and Terrence Gangster Williams, Birdman's older brother. These guys weren't rappers. They were feared and respected in equal measure. Their name meant something long before anyone had even touched a mic. But the story turned dark fast. One by one, they were either killed or locked up. Only Gangster Williams lived long enough to see Birdman flip the name into something bigger. So when Birdman later used the Hot Boys for his rap group, it wasn't random, it was calculated. He took something straight from the streets and turned it into an empire. But that same legacy ended up being both a blessing and a curse. By the mid-1990s, Birdman and his brother Slim had officially built Cash Money Records from the ground up. To make it pop, they needed a crew that truly represented New Orleans the same way the original Hot Boys once did. That's where Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG came in, the new Hot Boys. They had the fire, the hunger, and the image. Birdman saw dollar signs all over it. He hyped them up like legends before they even hit the charts. Suddenly, they were everywhere, on mixtapes, on stages, flashing jewelry, driving luxury whips, and showing full loyalty to Baby. And it worked. Albums like Getting How You Live and Guerrilla Warfare made them superstars overnight. But that loyalty came with a heavy price. Birdman made sure he controlled it all: contracts, royalties, publishing, every penny that flowed through Cash Money. He owned the dream, and they were just living inside it. At first, nobody questioned him. Birdman was the boss, the father figure, the provider. But once the checks started rolling in and the numbers didn't match the work, cracks started to show. And Juvenile was the first to bounce, calling out missing payments and shady accounting. The Cash Money empire might have looked shiny on the outside, but behind closed doors, it was already starting to crumble. After Juvenile dipped, things only got messier. BG came next, straight up calling Birdman a crook. Then Turk got locked up, and when he finally came home, he found out the money he thought was waiting for him had vanished. Through all this chaos, Wayne stayed loyal. He stood by Birdman in interviews, calling him Pops and refusing to badmouth him no matter what. But deep down, even Wayne started realizing the math wasn't mathing. Birdman wasn't just the CEO, he was the gatekeeper. The moment you questioned him, your whole career hit pause. Wayne might have been the youngest in the crew, but he wasn't naive. He saw what happened to the others, and slowly he started plotting his own way out, an exit that would flip the whole hip-hop game forever. By 2015, Wayne had reached his breaking point. He filed a massive $51 million lawsuit against Birdman and Cash Money Records, claiming he was owed an $8 million advance plus another $2 million after finishing Talk Carter 5. On top of that, he said Birdman failed to pay profits from his own label, Young Money Entertainment. Basically, while Wayne was out there keeping the brand alive, Birdman was allegedly pocketing the profits behind closed doors. Birdman, of course, denied it all, saying he never held Wayne's music hostage. But behind the scenes, Wayne was heated. His long-awaited project, the Talk Carter 5, got delayed for years because of those same shady business issues. Eventually, in 2018, they reached a settlement, rumored to be over $10 million, but Birdman later went online bragging that he gave Wayne $400 to $500 million. Nobody believed that for a second. Even when they hugged it out for the cameras, fans knew that piece was fake. It was all just for show. To be fair, Birdman has tried to defend himself publicly. He's claimed for years that everyone got paid and that people just don't understand the business. He even said he gave Wayne hundreds of millions through Universal's distribution deals, but every time he starts throwing out numbers, they never match the receipts. What makes it worse, Birdman keeps flashing his luxury lifestyle like nothing happened.
I understand our language, you feel me? But I got to say this for me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all know y'all can't with me when y'all wanna with me. And I just wanna leave it at that, man. Like we gotta stop sending out these mixed messages to people because y'all, don't do that. You know what I'm talking about?
Private jets, diamond watches, lavish gifts. The man lives like a king. Meanwhile, most of his former artists is out here rebuilding their lives or still fighting for the royalties they earned. And that's the part that cuts the deepest. Birdman built Cash Money on loyalty and family, but once the money started talking, that family disappeared overnight. And just when things finally started to quiet down, boom, out of nowhere, Gangster, Williams, Birdman's older brother and one of the original Hot Boys, got released from prison in 2022 after serving over 23 years. His release shook everybody, including Birdman himself. Gangster jumped right into interviews, talking about the real Hot Boys, the street legends, and dropping raw truths about Cash Money's early days. Suddenly, all those buried stories started resurfacing again, and people began looking at Birdman in a whole new light. When Gangster Williams came home in 2022, the whole city of New Orleans started buzzing. His return didn't just bring back old memories, it cracked open secrets people thought were buried forever. In his interviews, Gangster didn't hold back. He started breaking down how Cash Money really began, naming names and painting a picture of what went down behind the glossy image Birdman always pushed. It wasn't all about talent and hustle. It was about power, control, and who got paid what. Gangster revealed that back in the early days, Cash Money wasn't just a label. It was a movement built from the streets. But he also hinted that once the money started rolling in, things shifted. The same loyalty that built the empire turned into competition, jealousy, and silence. Everybody wanted to be the boss, Gangster said in one of his interviews, and that line hit hard because it exposed what many fans already suspected. And Birdman? He didn't take kindly to his brother talking. Word spread that he wasn't happy about Gangster doing interviews or speaking on old street stories that could mess with his image. Some folks close to the situation even claimed Birdman stopped talking to him altogether. That family tension spilled into the public eye, adding another layer to the never-ending Cash Money drama. Meanwhile, Wayne stayed quiet, again, but fans noticed how his silence always speaks louder than words. Rumors started flying that Wayne had cut ties completely, focusing only on his own projects and staying far from anything that smelled like Birdman's business. Still, you can tell that no matter how far he moves, the history between them still lingers like a scar that never healed. Then in 2023, things took another twist. Turk went back on live and started throwing subtle shots, saying some folks were still acting rich off other people's pain. Fans instantly connected the dots. Everyone knew who he was talking about. That one comment reignited all the old conversations about missing royalties, fake apologies, and broken promises. it was like the Cash Money curse just wouldn't die. By 2024, social media had turned this saga into a timeline of betrayal. Fans started sharing clips, old interviews, and contracts, comparing what each member said over the years. Every time Birdman posted something flashy, a new watch, a jet, a house, the comments were flooded with people asking, did Wayne see his cut? Or where the Turk money at? It became a digital courtroom, and Birdman's reputation took another hit. What's wild is that Birdman still acts unbothered. He continues living large, saying everyone's just bitter and jealous. But the truth is, his empire doesn't shine like it used to. The same artists who built Cash Money's name are now either distant or done with him completely. And every time someone from the old crew speaks out, it reminds people that success without loyalty doesn't last forever. Today, when fans talk about the Hot Boys, it's with both pride and sadness. They remember the music, the energy, the culture, but they also remember the pain that came after. Birdman turned a dream into a dynasty, but in the process, he might have lost the only thing money can't buy: trust. And now, with Gangsta Williams now free and still talking, Turk pushing for his respect, and Wayne keeping quiet while staying focused on his legacy, one thing's clear: the Cash Money story ain't over yet. Every time someone speaks, another piece of the truth slips out, and fans can't stop watching to see what's going to drop next. Gangsta Williams basically confirmed what fans have been saying for years. Birdman used the Hot Boys name, their street rep, and even pieces of their real-life story to build his label. But when it came time to give proper credit, he went silent. And when people asked Birdman how he felt about his own brother coming home, he acted like Gangsta didn't even exist. That silence said it all. It proved that in Birdman's world, loyalty only moves in one direction. Now, almost 30 years later, the legacy of the Hot Boys is still hanging in limbo. BG is finally free, Juvenile's still tearing up stages as a solo act, and Turk's out here doing interviews, calling names and demanding what's his. Meanwhile, Lil Wayne's in a whole different lane, too rich, too successful, and honestly, too scarred to ever look back. Fans keep begging for a reunion, dreaming of one last performance to bring back that magic, but deep down, everyone knows the wounds run too deep. Birdman might have built the brand, but he also broke the bond. The Hot Boys weren't just a rap group, they were a brotherhood. They represented loyalty, struggle, and pure survival out the mud. But once money and pride got involved, everything fell apart piece by piece. And now, with Birdman back online throwing slick disses like nothing ever happened, it's obvious this story is far from over. Every time Wayne stays quiet, every time Turk speaks out, and every time Birdman flexes for the internet, we're reminded that behind all the fame, hits, and money was a family that never healed. So here's the real question. If Birdman still owes them millions, what else does he owe them that money can't buy? If you've been keeping up with this wild Cash Money saga, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Hot Boys will ever reunite, or is that chapter closed for good? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment below, because this story's still unfolding, and you won't want to miss what comes next.